The sold sign stabbed into my front lawn like a knife to the heart. I blinked hard, hoping it was just exhaustion playing tricks after a long day of client meetings. But there it stood, red and white and cruel, marking my home as someone else's property. My name is Willow, and until 5 minutes ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I'd been renting this condo from my parents for 3 years, building my freelance design business, finally feeling stable. The agreement was simple. I'd pay market rent, maintain the place, and eventually buy it when I saved enough for a down payment. I fumbled for my phone, dialing my mother with trembling fingers. Straight to voicemail. Of course. "Hey there, cousin." The sickeningly sweet voice made me freeze. Jordan stood at the edge of my driveway, designer purse swinging, perfect smile gleaming. Guess who just bought her first home? My stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" "Aunt Juliana and Uncle Francis gave me such an amazing deal. I mean, they practically gifted it to me." She twirled her keys, my keys, around her finger. "I can't wait to renovate. This place needs so much work." I barely heard the rest of her gloating. My feet carried me automatically to my parents' house 3 blocks away. The familiar colonial-style home loomed before me, its basement windows glowing with the illegal apartment's lights, their precious secret income source. My mother opened the door before I could knock. "I assumed you'd come," she said, stepping aside. "Your father's in his study." The house smelled like fresh coffee and betrayal. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes when I burst in, suddenly 16 again, pleading my case to deaf ears. "How could you sell my home without telling me?" My voice cracked. "I live there." "Family helps family," Mom said, perching on Dad's desk. "Jordan needed a starter home, and she has such potential. Her new job at the bank. I've been paying rent for 3 years. We had an agreement." "Nothing was in writing," Dad mumbled, shuffling papers. "Francis," Mom snapped, "let me handle this." She turned to me, face carved from ice. "You'll have 30 days to vacate. Jordan's being very generous about the timeline." "Generous?" I laughed, the sound harsh and foreign. "Like you were generous letting me believe I had a future there?" "Don't be dramatic, Willow. You're almost 30. It's time you learned that nothing in life is guaranteed." I stared at them. Really stared. Mom, perfectly coiffed and cold as always. Dad, hiding behind his papers like a coward. The basement door slightly ajar, where their tenant probably heard everything. "You're right," I said quietly. "Nothing is guaranteed." That night, after hours of angry packing and ignored calls from Jordan about paint samples, I sat in my soon-to-be former living room. My laptop glowed with the city's housing department website. The anonymous complaint form was simple enough to fill out. I hesitated for just a moment, thinking about consequences. Then I remembered Jordan's smirk, Mom's dismissal, Dad's silence. My fingers flew across the keyboard, detailing the illegal basement apartment, the unauthorized electrical work, the multiple building code violations I'd noticed over the years. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. "Jordan's thinking of painting the living room sage green. You always did make questionable color choices." I hit submit on the complaint form. Within seconds, an automated email arrived. "Inspector Wilson Jones will contact you within 24 hours to discuss your report." Another text from Mom. "Don't forget to leave the spare keys when you go. Jordan needs them for the contractor." I smiled for the first time that day, typing my phone number into the contact information field. The inspector would need someone to let them in, after all. Someone who knew exactly where to look. "Of course, Mom," I texted back. "I wouldn't want to make things difficult for family." My phone rang almost immediately, a blocked number. I answered, heart pounding. "This is Wilson Jones from the City Housing Department," a deep voice said. "I'm calling about an anonymous complaint regarding an illegal rental unit." I walked to my window, watching the lights in my parents' basement flicker on. Their tenant's shadow moved across the curtains, unaware that everything was about to change. Yes, I said. I have some information you might find interesting. Remember when you won that art competition in high school? Daisy asked, helping me pack my books into boxes. And your mom just said, "That's nice," while making a huge deal about Jordan's participation trophy in soccer? Third place in a state competition versus participation in junior varsity, I muttered, wrapping a photo frame in bubble wrap. But Jordan had real potential. God, that Christmas when you got self-help books while she got a MacBook? I paused, a memory hitting me like a slap. You know what Mom told me that year? Jordan needs the computer for college applications. You just draw all day. You can use the library computers. Daisy dropped the packing tape. That's messed up. And now they're just giving her your home? Their home, I corrected. They never let me forget who owned it. My phone buzzed. Another text from Jordan. The bathroom tiles are so dated. Think I'll gut it completely. I installed those tiles myself last summer, I said, showing Daisy the message. Spent my entire savings on the renovation. Screw them, Daisy declared, grabbing her car keys. Come on, we're taking a drive. 20 minutes later, we parked across from my parents' house. The basement tenant's car was gone. They always worked late on Thursdays. Look, I pointed to the carefully concealed separate entrance. Dad built that himself. No permits, no inspections. The electric meter's rigged too. Daisy pulled out her phone. Perfect lighting for photos. The housing department will love these. What if I'm going too far? I asked, watching her document everything. Too far? Like when your mom told you art school was a waste but paid Jordan's entire college tuition? Or when they promised you could buy this condo but sold it behind your back? Daisy turned to me. They're making their own karma here. My phone rang. The inspector. Ms. Willow? Wilson Jones here. Could you verify the exact address for the complaint? I looked at the house where I'd never been good enough, where Jordan had been crowned princess while I was told to be practical, realistic, less dramatic. Yes, I said clearly. It's 347 Maple Street. The entrance is behind the rhododendrons. They've been renting it out for 15 years. After hanging up, another memory surfaced, my 16th birthday, watching Jordan open my presents first because she's visiting, Mom beaming as Jordan tried on the art supplies I'd hinted at for months. You never needed fancy materials, Mom had said when I got quiet. Jordan's just starting to explore her creativity. Daisy touched my arm. You okay? They're about to lose their precious rental income, I said. The fines for unauthorized units start at $50,000. Good, Daisy said firmly. Let them feel what it's like to lose something they count on. A car pulled into my parents' driveway, Mom returning from her tennis game. She looked right at us but didn't wave. Remember what she said when you got that huge graphic design contract last year? Daisy asked. Jordan's banking job has benefit, I quoted, because apparently freelancing isn't a real career. My phone lit up with a text from the inspector. Site visit scheduled for next week. The complainant's identity remains confidential. They'll know it was me, I said. So what? They sold your home to their precious Jordan. What else can they take from you? I watched Mom disappear inside, probably planning more ways to prop up Jordan's perfect life. The basement lights flickered on right on schedule. You know what Mom told me once? I said, starting the car. She said being harder on me meant I'd survive better than Jordan, that I needed to be stronger. Well, Daisy smiled grimly, she's about to find out how strong you've become. At home? No. At the condo, Jordan had left a Pinterest board taped to my door. Ideas for my new home, the heading screamed in glittery pen. I ripped it down, but not before noticing her plans to tear out the garden I'd planted. The herb garden that had fed me through lean months when clients paid late. My phone buzzed again. Mom, Jordan's designer needs access tomorrow. Be out by noon. I thought about the inspector's photos, the pending investigation, the years of unpermitted rental income about to catch up with them. No problem, I texted back. Just remember what you always told me. Nothing in life is guaranteed. I could almost hear her scoff at my attitude, but soon she'd have bigger problems than my tone. The housing department was very interested in anonymous tips these days, especially about illegal units in upscale neighborhoods. Karma's not a bitch, I told Daisy as she helped me pack the last box. She's just finally paying attention. These walls are so dingy, Jordan announced, running her manicured fingers along the freshly painted surface I'd finished just last month. And this light fixture? So basic. I continued wrapping my dishes in newspaper, counting backwards from 10. The sooner I packed, the sooner I could escape her impromptu renovation consultation. Oh my God, what's this? She pulled my childhood scrapbook from a shelf. How cute, you kept all this old stuff. Put that down. I reached for it, but she danced away, flipping the pages. Oh, look at these drawings. Remember when you thought you'd be a famous artist? She laughed. Thank God Aunt Juliana talked sense into you. The scrapbook slipped from her hands, spilling loose papers across the floor. Among them, a yellowed envelope caught my eye, partially burned around the edges. Oops! Sorry, not sorry, Jordan chirped, already distracted by measuring the windows for real curtains, not these cheap things. I waited until she moved to the kitchen before snatching up the envelope. Inside was a letter in my late Aunt Sarah's handwriting, Jordan's mother. Dearest Juliana, it began, I know what you did with Mother's will, how you convinced Francis to help you change. My phone rang, startling me. Unknown number. Willow? It's Uncle Reginald. I hadn't heard from Mom's brother in years. They'd had some falling out before Aunt Sarah died. I heard about the condo situation, he said. History repeating itself, isn't it? What do you mean? Your mother pulled the same trick with your grandmother's will, changed the terms after Sarah died, made everything pass through Francis first. Jordan wasn't supposed to get anything special. Neither was Juliana. My hands shook. How do you know this? Because Sarah found out. That letter she wrote, the one Juliana tried to burn. It explains everything. I've been gathering proof for years. In the kitchen, Jordan was FaceTiming her designer. The counters have to go, and that tacky backsplash. I have the letter, I said quietly. It survived. Silence on the line. Then, keep it safe. Things are about to get interesting for your mother. After hanging up, I found Jordan rearranging my furniture. This layout is all wrong. Good thing you're leaving soon. The real renovations can't start with all your stuff here. The doorbell rang. A courier stood outside with an official-looking envelope addressed to Mom. Wrong address. I'll take it to her, I offered when Jordan reached for it. Whatever. I'm late for brunch anyway. She grabbed her designer bag. Oh, and the painters are coming tomorrow. Hope you're out by then. Once alone, I studied the envelope. City of Boston Housing Department. My hands trembled as I carefully opened it, sliding out the notice. Mandatory inspection, zoning violation report. Failure to comply will result in significant penalties. My phone pinged with Instagram notifications. Jordan was already posting photos of my new home renovation journey, featuring my space tagged as her blank canvas. I photographed the notice and sealed it back up. Evidence of tampering would only help their case. Walking to my parents' house, I spotted Isla, their next-door neighbor, working in her garden. "Oh, Willow," she called. "Such a shame about your condo. But that basement tenant of theirs finally moved out last night. Couldn't take the noise from the pipes anymore, I heard." I paused. "Really? When?" "Loaded up a U-Haul after dark. Your mother was quite upset this morning. Something about lost rent. Perfect timing. The inspection would find an empty illegal unit. No tenant to deny access or complicate things. Mom opened her door before I could knock. What now?" "Wrong address," I said, handing over the envelope. "Came to my place. I mean, Jordan's place." She ripped it open, face paling as she read. This is ridiculous. Some mistake. Really? Like the mistake of selling my home without telling me? Don't start, Willow. Jordan deserves a property that was never yours to give? The words slipped out before I could stop them. Aunt Sarah might disagree. Mom went very still. What are you talking about? Nothing, I said sweetly. Just delivering mail. Family helps family, right? I left her standing in the doorway, clutching the notice. Behind her, through the window, I could see Dad frantically making phone calls. My phone buzzed with a text from Uncle Reginald. Lawyers ready when you are. That letter is our smoking gun. Another Instagram notification. Jordan posting about manifesting her dreams and deserving nice things. I touched the letter in my pocket. Dreams are about to turn into nightmares, I whispered, walking away from the house where lies had lived for so long. Behind me, I heard Mom's voice rising in panic. Francis, call the contractor, now! 7 business days. Dad's voice trembled through my phone. They're giving us 7 days to prepare for inspection. That's unfortunate, I said, watching Jordan's latest Instagram story, a champagne toast in my former living room. Why are you telling me this? Your mother? She thought maybe you could help. Write a letter vouching for us? I muted Jordan's story mid-celebration. Like how you vouched for me when she sold my home? Willow, please. The fines could bankrupt us. Nothing in life is guaranteed, Dad. Isn't that what Mom always says? Daisy arrived just as I hung up, carrying coffee and a knowing smile. Ready to do some reconnaissance? We parked across from my parents' house again, this time with recording equipment borrowed from Daisy's journalism job. Isla was right on schedule, watering her roses. Mrs. O'Brien, Daisy called out. Remember me? We met at Willow's housewarming. Isla brightened. Oh, yes. Terrible business, that sale. Did you know they're trying to hide that basement apartment? Covering up the entrance with those new bushes? Daisy's recorder hummed quietly in her pocket. Really? I thought rental units needed proper exits? Oh, it's completely illegal. Isla leaned in. Been that way for 15 years. The noise, the extra cars, the separate mailbox they tried to hide behind the fence. Every word was perfect. Exactly what the housing department needed. Daisy kept her talking, while I watched Mom pace behind her living room curtains. My phone buzzed with texts. Jordan, having my first dinner party tonight. Too bad you won't be here to see how amazing the place looks. Mom, the inspector called. Please, Willow, we can work something out. Uncle Reginald, lawyer has the will documents. Ready when you are. I ignored them all, watching Dad frantically nail boards over the basement windows. Too little, too late. Got it, Daisy whispered, stopping the recording. Want to hear? Before I could answer, a city vehicle pulled up. Mom practically ran outside. Inspector Jones, we weren't expecting you until next week. Preliminary visit, ma'am. Wilson adjusted his clipboard. Notice any unusual activity lately? Anonymous tips often spike when tenants move out suddenly. Mom's face went white. I don't know what you mean. Really? Because your neighbor just gave quite a detailed statement about your rental history. I couldn't help it. I walked over, playing innocent. Mom, everything okay? She grabbed my arm, nails digging in. Tell him there's no rental unit. Tell him. Mrs. Romero? Wilson interrupted. Attempting to influence witness statements is a separate violation. Witness? Mom's grip loosened. Willow, what did you do? I smiled, channeling Jordan's sugary sweetness. Nothing, Mom. Just helping family. Isn't that what we do? Wilson cleared his throat. The formal inspection is still scheduled for next week. I recommend having your lawyer present. As he left, Mom turned on me. You ungrateful little... Everything okay here? Isla called out, still recording everything on her phone. I have such a clear view from my garden. Mom stormed inside. Through the window, I watched her scream at Dad, who was still holding his hammer, looking lost. My phone pinged again. Jordan had posted photos of her dinner party. So blessed to have parents who believe in me. Best investment ever. Send me that recording, I told Daisy. The housing department might find it interesting. That night, I sat in my temporary apartment, surrounded by boxes, watching Mom's desperate attempts to call me. 10 missed calls, 20 texts. The last one caught my eye. We'll lose everything. Is that what you want? I thought about Christmas mornings, watching Jordan open the best presents, about art school rejection letters Mom had forged in my name, about Dad's silence when I begged them not to sell my home. You can't lose what was never really yours, I texted back. My laptop pinged, an email from Wilson. Anonymous tip line received audio evidence of long-term rental violations. Fines may be adjusted accordingly. I forwarded Mom's threatening text to Uncle Reginald's lawyer, then opened Instagram one last time. Jordan's party was in full swing, my old furniture pushed aside for her designer pieces. To new beginnings, her caption read, so grateful for family who knows what I deserve. I clicked the block button and closed the app. Through my window, I could see the city lights flickering like karma finally waking up. My phone buzzed one last time. Dad, your mother's talking about selling the house before inspection. Please, we can fix this. Nothing to fix, I replied. Family helps family, remember? I'm just following Mom's example. Then I turned off my phone and slept better than I had in years. The doorbell rang at 8 a.m. sharp. Through my parents' security camera feed, they'd never changed the password, I watched Mom smooth her hair and paste on her best social smile. Inspector Jones, we weren't expecting you until... Surprise inspection, Mrs. Romero. Wilson's voice was crisp. Legal requirement when we suspect evidence tampering. Dad appeared behind her, coffee cup shaking in his hand. We were just about to finish covering up the basement entrance. Wilson gestured to the half-installed lattice work. Step aside, please. I switched to the basement camera. They cleared out most evidence of the rental, but the separate electric meter remained, along with years of tenant mail they'd forgotten to remove from behind the water heater. Sir, this is just storage space, Mom insisted, following Wilson down the stairs. Storage space with a kitchen and mail dating back to 2019? He photographed everything. Mr. Romero, care to explain the unauthorized electrical work? Dad's coffee cup clattered to the floor. Juliana handled all the paperwork. Francis, Mom's voice could have frozen hell. Mrs. Romero, Wilson turned to her, tampering with electrical systems without permits is a serious violation. Who performed this work? Mom looked at Dad, who suddenly found the floor fascinating. I did, Dad whispered. Juliana said we needed the rental income after she changed the will. Changed what will? Wilson asked. Mom's hand clamped over Dad's mouth. Nothing. He's confused. My phone buzzed. Uncle Reginald. Lawyer submitted the inheritance documents. Court date next week. Perfect timing. Wilson's voice hardened. Mrs. Romero, we have documented evidence of long-term rental fraud, unauthorized construction, and now possible inheritance tampering. The fines start at $50,000, not including legal penalties. But Jordan's condo payment, Mom whispered. What about it? We used the rental income as proof of funds for her mortgage. I nearly dropped my phone. They'd committed mortgage fraud too. That's another department's problem, Wilson said, writing furiously. For now, you have 24 hours to disconnect all unauthorized utilities and begin restoration to original condition. But our tenant already provided a statement, Wilson cut her off, along with rent receipts. Through the camera, I watched Mom sink onto the illegal kitchen's counter, her perfect posture finally breaking. My phone lit up with a call from Jordan. I answered out of curiosity. The septic system is backing up, she shrieked. The whole condo smells. This is your fault somehow, isn't it? I smiled. Karma's funny that way. Aunt Juliana, Jordan wailed. My housewarming party is tonight. Fix this. But Mom was too busy watching Wilson document every violation to answer her phone. One more thing, Wilson said, holding up a stack of mail. Redirecting tenant mail is a federal offense. Expect contact from the postal inspector. Dad dropped onto the basement stairs. Juliana, what have you done to us? Me? Mom's voice rose hysterically. You helped! All those years of keeping quiet, letting me handle everything while you played innocent. I should have stopped you, Dad said quietly. When you changed Sarah's will, when you sold Willow's condo, when you... Shut up, Mom screamed. Wilson cleared his throat. Adding this conversation to my report. Expect the first fine notice within 48 hours. After he left, I watched my parents stare at each other in the basement. They turned into a house of cards. My phone buzzed again. Jordan. Party canceled. My life is ruined. Mom, was it you? Did you report us? Uncle Reginald. Court summons delivered to Juliana. It's starting. I forwarded Wilson's inspection photos to Uncle Reginald's lawyer, then texted Mom back. Funny how secrets don't stay buried forever. Through the camera, I watched her read my message. For the first time in my life, I saw real fear in her eyes. Francis, she whispered, call the bank. We need to know our options. Dad just shook his head. No more fixes, Juliana. No more schemes. My phone pinged with an Instagram notification. Jordan had posted a tear-filled rant about toxic family members and sabotage. I commented with a single emoji. Mom's next text was desperate. We can make this right. Please. The fines will destroy us. I thought about all the times she destroyed my dreams to build Jordan's up, about Dad's silent complicity, about the burned letter proving none of us had ever known the whole truth. Karma's not destroying you, I texted back. Your choices are. Then I watched through the camera as Mom finally broke down crying, while Dad walked upstairs without comforting her. Sometimes revenge doesn't need a grand gesture. Sometimes it just needs truth and time. The bank's threatening to call in our loans. Dad's voice cracked through my voicemail. We use the rental income to qualify. Without it. Willow, please. Your mother's not eating. We need help. I deleted the message and opened my laptop to find 3 urgent emails. From Mom, family meeting. Tonight, non-negotiable. From Jordan, my mortgage is under review. From Zara, my old childhood friend, we need to talk about Jordan. I replied only to Zara, agreeing to meet at the coffee shop downtown. When I arrived, she was nervously shredding a napkin. Jordan asked me to help her Airbnb the condo, she blurted out, under the table, while she's waiting for renovations. I sipped my coffee. Interesting. The HOA specifically prohibits short-term rentals. I know. She's desperate. Said something about her mortgage being questioned. Zara pulled out her phone. Look at her listing. It's already live. There was my former home, advertised as a luxury getaway for $300 per night, using my furniture in the photos. The HOA board would hate to see this, I mused, forwarding screenshots to my email. That's why I told you, Zara said. After what she did to you, karma needs a little push sometimes. My phone buzzed, Daisy calling. I stepped outside to answer. I got the job in London, she said without preamble. They need me there next month. The world tilted slightly. My best friend, my support system, leaving just when everything was falling apart. That's great, I managed. I'm sorry about the timing. With everything happening, no, you should go, really. I swallowed hard. I'm fine. Back inside, Zara was texting rapidly. Jordan's freaking out. The HOA just fined her $5,000 for unauthorized rental listings. Anonymous tip? I asked innocently. Very anonymous, she winked. Oh, and your mom's been calling everyone, trying to raise money for legal fees. Right on cue, my phone lit up with Mom's number. I answered on speaker. The fines are due tomorrow, she said, voice raw. $50,000 we don't have. Please, Willow, we can remortgage the house. Like you remortgaged my future? I watched Zara's eyes widen at my tone. How's Jordan's perfect life working out? This isn't about Jordan, Mom snapped. This is about family. Family helps family, I quoted. Isn't that what you said when you sold my home? Silence. Then, your father told the bank everything. About the rental fraud, the will, all of it. We could lose everything. You already lost me, I said quietly. Everything else is just paperwork. After hanging up, Zara showed me Jordan's latest Instagram story, a tearful rant about financial harassment and family betrayal. She's always been your parents' golden child, Zara said, even in school, when she'd take credit for your art projects. What? You didn't know? She told everyone she helped you. That's why your mom thought she had artistic potential. Another piece of the puzzle clicked into place. All those years of Mom praising Jordan's creativity while dismissing mine. My phone chimed with a text from an unknown number. This is Marcus from Legal Aid. Your Uncle Reginald asked me to contact you about contesting the inheritance. I showed Zara the message. Want to help me burn down some more bridges? Honey, those bridges were rotten anyway. We spent the next hour forwarding evidence. Jordan's illegal rental listings, Mom's rental fraud, Dad's unauthorized construction work. Each click felt like breaking another chain. Then Daisy called again. Your mom just showed up at my apartment crying about how you're destroying the family. What did you say? That she destroyed it first. She didn't like that answer. My phone exploded with notifications. Jordan, the HOA is threatening eviction. Mom, the bank froze our accounts. Dad, please call us. We can explain everything. Uncle Reginald, court date moved up. Be ready. I silenced them all and looked at Zara. Think I've gone too far? She pulled up Jordan's social media, full of stolen moments and manufactured success. They went too far first. You're just showing them the way back. Outside, rain started falling. Somewhere across town, my parents were probably staring at their frozen accounts. Jordan was facing HOA fines she couldn't pay, and all their carefully constructed lies were washing away. Daisy's leaving, I said suddenly. London. Zara squeezed my hand. Then we'll watch them unravel together. Someone needs to document karma in action. My phone lit up one last time. The lawyer again. Found something interesting in the mortgage applications. How soon can you meet? I thought about Mom's tears, Jordan's tantrums, Dad's desperate voicemails. Today, I typed back, I'm ready now. The courthouse steps felt like a stage, with Mom, Dad, and Jordan huddled on one side while Uncle Reginald's lawyer spread documents across his briefcase on the other. The will tampering is clear, Marcus explained, pointing to highlighted sections. Your mother altered dates, forged signatures, and redirected assets through your father's name to avoid inheritance tax. That's a lie, Mom's voice echoed to him through the hallway. Willow, stop this madness! Jordan stormed over, mascara streaked down her face. The bank suspended my mortgage. I'm going to lose everything. Like I lost my home? I kept my voice steady. The one you just had to have? You didn't deserve it. You're just an artist, a dreamer. I have a real career. A career built on fraud, Marcus interjected, pulling out more papers. Your mortgage application lists rental income that never existed. That's federal fraud, Ms. Mackenzie. Jordan's perfect facade cracked. Aunt Juliana said it was fine. She said she'd cover the payments until what? I asked. Until you finished destroying everything I built? Order in the hallway. A bailiff approached. Court's about to begin. Inside, the judge reviewed the documentation with increasing concern. Mom kept trying to catch my eye, mouthing please over and over. Mrs. Romero, the judge finally spoke, these allegations are serious. Will tampering, mortgage fraud, illegal rental income. It was for family. Mom stood up. Everything I did was to protect To protect who? Uncle Reginald interrupted from the gallery. My sister Sarah's will was clear. The properties were to be divided equally. You changed that, didn't you? Sarah didn't understand. Jordan needed what? I turned to face her. To be handed everything while I got nothing? To steal my home because you decided she deserved it more? I made you stronger, Mom shouted. Everything I did made you independent while Jordan what? The judge's voice cut through. Committed mortgage fraud under your guidance? Jordan burst into tears. I can't lose my house. My followers are expecting a renovation series. It was never your house, I said quietly. Just like it was never really mine. The judge cleared his throat. Given the evidence, I'm freezing all assets pending investigation. Mrs. Romero, you'll need criminal defense counsel. Dad finally spoke up. We used the rental income for Jordan's mortgage. Without it, Marcus added, both properties are subject to immediate review for fraud. Mom collapsed into her chair. Willow, please, we can fix this. I thought about all the times she'd said that. When she lost my art school acceptance letters, when she gave Jordan my college fund, when she sold my home without warning. No, Mom, you can't fix karma. Jordan lunged at me, her designer bag swinging. You vindictive bitch! You've ruined everything! The bailiff intercepted her as Uncle Reginald stood. Should I tell them about Sarah's last letter, Juliana? The one you tried to burn? Mom went pale. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, he said. You played favorites until it became fraud. Now you're facing the consequences. The judge banged his gavel. Properties frozen. Assets held pending criminal investigation. Next hearing in 30 days. Outside, Jordan was having a full meltdown on the courthouse steps, live streaming to her followers about family betrayal. The bank wants their down payment back, Dad said hollowly. We don't have it. You had 15 years of illegal rental income, I reminded him. Where did it all go? Ask your mother, he whispered. She handled everything. Mom stood alone, her perfect image finally shattered. I only wanted what was best. For Jordan, I finished. Never for me. I made you strong, she insisted. Look how well you survive. No, Mom, you made me angry. There's a difference. My phone buzzed. Daisy sending support from London. Behind me, Marcus was already discussing next steps with Uncle Reginald. The criminal investigation starts tomorrow, he told Mom. I suggest you get a lawyer. Jordan's wails echoed off the courthouse walls. My followers trusted me. My brand is ruined. I walked away as Mom called after me. Willow, you can't leave us like this. Watch me, I said, not turning back. Uncle Reginald caught up with me at my car. Sarah would be proud of you. She always said you were the strong one. Strong enough to survive them, I nodded. Strong enough to stop them, too. My phone lit up with notifications. Jordan, I'm being evicted. How could you do this to family? Mom, the police want our financial records. Dad, please help us fix this. I deleted them all and drove home to my small rental apartment where no one could take anything from me ever again. Behind me, Mom's carefully constructed dynasty crumbled under the weight of its own lies, while Jordan's perfect life dissolved into a series of desperate social media posts. Sometimes karma doesn't need help. Sometimes she just needs an audience. The moving truck pulled away from my new apartment, leaving me alone with my boxes and the afternoon sun streaming through windows that were finally, legally mine. The down payment had come from Uncle Reginald's lawyer, my share of the recovered inheritance, plus interest. My phone buzzed with Zara's text. Turn on the local news. There was Mom, being led out of their house in handcuffs, her tennis whites replaced by a shocked expression. The caption read, Local realtor arrested for multiple fraud charges. The defendant faces up to 15 years, the reporter announced, for charges including will tampering, mortgage fraud, and illegal rental income. Another text from Zara. Jordan's condo is listed for sale, below market value. I switched to Instagram, where Jordan's perfectly curated life had devolved into desperate attempts to rebrand herself after the scandal. Her latest post showed her moving back in with her dad. Sometimes you have to rebuild from nothing but blessed, authentic karma. The doorbell rang. Uncle Reginald with a housewarming gift. Sarah's old art supplies, he said, setting down a familiar wooden box. Found them in Juliana's attic. She kept everything she took from you. I opened the box, finding my old brushes, the expensive ones Mom had given Jordan. She really did plan it all, didn't she? Your father confessed everything to avoid charges. He nodded. How Juliana manipulated the will, used the rental income to fund Jordan's lifestyle, forged documents. My phone lit up, Dad calling. I answered on speaker. The house is being seized, he said quietly. Your mother's facing serious time. Jordan's being investigated for mortgage fraud. I should have stopped this years ago. But you didn't, I replied. You watched them tear me down and said nothing. I know. I'm sorry, Willow, for everything. I hung up as another text came through. Daisy sending a photo of her new London office. Miss you, but so proud. You finally broke their power over you. Uncle Reginald helped me unpack my art supplies, setting up an easel by the window. Sarah always said you had the real talent. That's why Juliana worked so hard to suppress it. Because Jordan needed to be the special one? Because you were already special without any of their help. My phone buzzed again. A news alert. Jordan's bank was pressing charges for mortgage application fraud. Her perfect life had finally hit its karma debt. Did revenge fix everything? Uncle Reginald asked softly. No, I admitted, setting up a fresh canvas. But the truth did. I started painting as he left, creating something new in a space that was truly mine. No more conditional help, no more family loyalty tests, no more watching Jordan take what was meant for me. The evening news played in the background. Mom's perfect reputation shattered, Jordan's influencer career in ruins, Dad's quiet compliance exposed. Their carefully constructed facade had crumbled under the weight of its own lies. My phone kept lighting up. Mom, the lawyers say I could avoid jail if you speak on my behalf. Jordan, my life is over and it's all your fault. Dad, please just talk to us. I blocked their numbers and opened my laptop instead, checking my design business emails. New clients, fresh projects, opportunities that had nothing to do with family obligations or stolen dreams. A final text from Zara made me smile. Jordan's trying to sell your old furniture to cover legal fees. Karma's got a weird sense of humor. I looked around my new space, smaller than the condo, but mine in every way that mattered. The walls were already filling with my art, pieces Mom had called impractical, and Jordan had tried to copy. The sunset painted my canvas in shades of justice as I worked, creating something that could never be taken away. Outside, the city hummed with possibilities that had nothing to do with family names or stolen inheritances. My phone lit up one last time. Uncle Reginald. Sarah would be proud. You broke the cycle. I texted back, no more family helping family? No, he replied, just truth finally helping truth. I turned back to my painting, adding colors that Mom would have hated and Jordan would have tried to claim. In the distance, sirens wailed, probably another piece of their perfect world falling apart. But here, in my space, with my art and my truth, nothing could be stolen anymore. No more conditional love, no more forced gratitude, no more watching Jordan receive what was meant for me. Sometimes karma doesn't fix everything, but sometimes she gives you a clean canvas and says, now show them what you can really do. I picked up my brush and began to paint my own story,